What were my goals for the story arcs of season 2? Well, I think part of it was just finishing out a lot of the ideas that we had from season 1.
We really didn't anticipate ending the season with that episode last year. So when we came back, we were sort of put through a drill by the network. They wanted to know what we had in mind for season 2.
In season 2, we really wanted to expand the scope of the show. And when we say expand the scope, that means being on location a lot more.
Some of the things that I was interested in at the end of season 1, we've been exploring a lot in season 2. Specifically, what's the residue from Cameron's damage to her chip? How has that affected her ability to do her job? How has it affected her relationship with John?
Are you busy?
No.
So we kind of came into this room for a few weeks and started talking about, you know, where we had left off and where we might want to go. And everything kind of focused on the John Connor character. And we decided that this should be the year of his emancipation from his mother.
Now is not the time for this.
Now is not the time. Well, when is the time?
It was really about the family dynamic and trying to see whether or not I could pull the family apart and put them back together again.
You're pissed off because I found someone I actually like spending time with, and it's not you.
Everyone already knows she's building Skynet. Everyone already knows that the Turk is Skynet. So we're all waiting for it to wake up and be evil.
The writer's room is a very, you know, almost sacred place on our show. And it is where, you know, outside of Josh's head, where, you know, every creative idea is vetted.
You know, it's challenging, and this is the first show that I've ever run, so I took a lot of my cues from John, actually, who's been doing this for many years, but at the same time, it was creatively, I mean, I was sort of, as George Bush said, I was the decider.
It's about what do we want to do with the Ellison character, where do we want to take that character, and how do we want to use that character to reveal the place where we want to get, like at the end of this season, right?
But she's still sort of means testing him where we are in 11, which is that he has to go through the Savannah hoop in order to get to the end of 11, which is sort of a false beat because he's done so many other things that would sort of justify his involvement, specifically bringing the body. You want there to be a good, healthy debate about things, and you want to hear every good idea. You don't want anybody, you know, from a co-EP to a staff writer, you don't want anybody to feel like they can't express a great idea, because they're all writers. They're all, you know, they're very good writers. That's why we hired them. So they're all eminently qualified to have a great idea. And I think, so you want to foster that. You don't want anyone to feel hesitant, like you're going to shut them down or make fun of them or you know, again, just not hear them.
At least my read of it is that Cameron was on the road to some sort of, to becoming more than what she was. I don't think that means the data she's going to become human. It means that she's, you know, that she's growing beyond her original programming in an interesting way.
If her overall programming includes trying to become as human-like as possible in order to have John love her, then anything that she could do to practice or investigate humanity and becoming more human,
More human-like.
or more human-like, is within that prime directive. So I think that trying to just, you know, have good chemistry in the room and some continuity with your staff over time is probably the best way to get the best ideas. And then I just have to be smart enough to either to see a good idea, you know, or get out of the way.
Ellison's job is to, like, this happened.
The process at Sarah Connor is extremely collaborative. We break stories collectively as a team, and then each writer takes one episode and writes it from start to finish.
It's very organic because sometimes you go in there having no idea where you were even supposed to go until somebody throws something out that everybody jumps on.
Sometimes people come in with an individual episode idea or just like a thread of a storyline, and we build on it, and it's just very, very collaborative.
Listen, I have a big problem. It's gonna sound very strange, but I've been transformed into an eel. I'm in the office of Catherine Weaver. You gotta come help me, because I'm the only eel in the office.
8 heads are better than 1. So everybody contributes to the story. We break it down in detail, and we write it up on the board. I mean, even, you know, like Act 1, Number 1, exterior, Connor house, day. And then we have a little block of prose that we write up there, and that usually contains what is the action of the scene, who's in the scene, what are the characters' attitudes in the scene, and how does it get us to the next scene, you know, some sense of what happens next. Josh loves the notion of driving a story forward by asking yourself the question, what happens next? And then what happens? And then what happens?
Where are we going now?
We're not going anywhere. I'm going somewhere. And I'm gonna go alone.
You shouldn't be alone.
Yes, I should.
Once we have a broad idea, we just start trying to come up with story beats, and we all sit around and throw out story ideas, and what if this, and what if this happened, and we make lists, and we fill up boards, and we draw diagrams, and get in arguments.
It seems like